All right, we had Christine on the podcast today. She's a Shamanic Breathwork Facilitator and many other things. She does Reiki. She's also a registered nurse. Yeah, bunch of things. And yeah, we had a really good chat in this podcast. We dove deep on many things, her journey around finding the breath and becoming a Shamanic Breathwork Facilitator and a bunch of other things. Was so, it was an awesome episode. We could have went so much longer than we did, but she has a lot to offer, a lot of wisdom to share as well. And also too, towards the end, we do a little 10-minute breath work thing. So hope you guys enjoy that, and make sure you check out all the links and stuff down below in the bio. And other than that, for all my updates, for booking for any sessions with me, head over to michealcrocker.com, and that is it. So I hope you enjoyed today's episode. All right, welcome to the show. How are you today?
Hey, I'm excellent, and so excited about chatting about breath work and more. Thank you for having me.
More than welcome. Like, I guess we're chatting before, like there's so much we could go down in that. And you're telling me a little bit about your story, how you got into breath work, which I think would be a pretty cool place to start, because I think the teacher that you're talking about, especially one of the people that brought it to Western society, this is going to be an epic show. So I'll actually get you start there with the start of your journey or the breath, and then we'll dive into many other things from there.
Awesome. Well, look, I'll probably just start right from the beginning. At the end of 1999, I suddenly lost my parents to my mum died of cancer, and then my dad a week later died of a double stroke. And I was working at that time full-time as a registered nurse, and I'd worked in many different fields, in prisons, in forensic, in aged care, all over in drug and alcohol. And so I had a lot of insight about trauma, about grief, and I thought, I can get a handle on this, with my feelings after I lost my parents. And I try to keep myself busy and get, back on the saddle and get back to work. And it wasn't, until a few years later that I just hit rock bottom, and I knew it. I was struggling after work. I would always drive past the bottle shop, get a bottle of wine, get takeout, because I'd be just so exhausted by the end of the day. I was really surviving just on cortisol, coffee, espresso, chocolate, just to survive, to get by. And I was just stuck in this rut, and I knew I needed to get out of this. I was just, I was so unhappy. Nothing was giving me true meaning or purpose. And I literally got on my hands and knees and said to God, I said, look, I'm struggling here. I can't do this anymore. I don't know what to do. I felt like I wanted to scream, or something almost want to explode within me. And, I had seen doctors, I had seen psychologists, but still at the end of the day, I would just come home and just still feel in that rut and feel sad and depressed, and kind of going through the dark night of the soul every night. Just felt like this darkness coming down upon me. And so I got down on my hands and knees and I said, God, I don't know, I need something. And I said, I'd love to just have time out, go on a retreat or something, please, just show me a sign, something. And the following day I was on my computer and I just typed in about retreats, health retreats, and I'd put on a lot of weight and was really quite unhealthy. And I saw a retreat. It had what was it called? Journey to the Light, and it was by a company called Inner Peace Institute for Wellbeing. And it just happened that evening their first day of their retreat was about to start. And I rang them up and I said, is there still spots left? They said, only one. And they said, look, you know, we have to get the organisers to talk to you beforehand, because it's a very deep, intensive retreat, like for 7 days. And we start at 6 a.m. and we go to 11 at night, and it's intensive. And I just went, no, I need this. I need something quite intensive. I need help. I'm really at the end of my rope. I'm desperate. And so I spoke to the organizer, and they allowed me to come along. And so that was just such a blessing. And that's where I was first introduced to breathwork at the retreat.
It's so crazy how those things happen, like when you need that sign and you ask for it and it just appears right there. And it's just like, it's crazy when it's divine timing, the best way to explain it. And it's the most coolest thing when you can just say, put it out there and just trust what's going to happen, and it all just falls into place.
Yeah. So they were just really, it was a godsend to me. So I go to this retreat, and first thing in the morning at 6 a.m, we get told to get down to the rec room, to the hall. And I have never done breath work in my life, or any yoga or meditation, nothing like this. You know, I've been a registered nurse and, just, you know, committed to working. But, you know, I thought, I don't know, I used to be such a huge skeptical, like, about all that stuff, you know, when, you know, I see people meditating and all that, and I don't know, I just never really believed in it, or I could never switch off my mind ever. Like, it was always racy, full of thoughts. And I just go, for people to be able to just stop and meditate, they're the people who've got, you know, a relaxed, you know, non-stressful life. They've had an easy upbringing, and they can just stop and be at peace. They don't live in the real world. Half of them live in an ashram, or, you know, they're not real people, you know. And so, you know, this was this negative mindset that I was in. And so when I was at this retreat, you know, we all got asked, there was about 25 of us, to lay down on a mattress, and we were given blindfolds, and we weren't given any explanation about what was going to be happening. And oh my God, I just thought, what the I thought like I was in a mental ward, and everyone forgot to take their medication. You know, when you know, with breathwork, everyone, you know, when you start with the conscious connected breathing, and we start getting activated, and suddenly, you know, energy and emotions start to build up and come out. And I remember my first time I was peeking, you know, under my blindfold. I lifted it up, and I'm looking around the room going, what the fuck's, you know, oh, sorry, what's going on here? This is just crazy, you know, what's going on? And the instructor came and said, Krisy, just stop, come back to your breath, keep breathing, stop peeking and keep breathing. And I was just so surprised. Within, you know, 5 minutes, I instantly went into this altered state, and remember everything was just like in my mind's eye, pitch black. And all of a sudden I felt like I was at the top of a roller coaster, but not on the actual ride. I was hanging to the top peak of this roller coaster, to the edge. And I was like, oh shit, how did I get up here? And I'm looking around and I can't hardly see anything. All I can see is that I'm high up on this roller coaster ride. Then all of a sudden, this train carriage comes up, and a voice I hear says, Krisy, get on the ride. And I'm like, I'm scared. Like, I don't know what's going on, you know, and I'm hanging on the side for dear life. I'm like, no, I'm not getting on the train. I don't know what's about to happen. And they said, it was a very distinct voice, get on the ride. So I got on it, then all of a sudden I was just taken through the cosmos, like through, it felt like up and down and around, like through space. It was it was just beyond, like I felt like I was getting snippets from my past, like bits and pieces, like a movie camera. I kept seeing bits and pieces. Then all of a sudden it just stopped, and I'm like, oh wow, where the hell am I? And I'm in my mum's womb, and I'm like, what, and part of my mind's still thinking, I'm like, what am I doing here? Like, what is going on? Like, and then all of a sudden, I feel, my world, everything's contracting around me, and and then all of a sudden I just feel like I'm coming through, which was like the birth canal, and seeing seeing a doctor, and being whisked away by the nurse and wrapped up, and remember just feeling really cold, and I was shaking and I was freezing, and crying, and like I was like, where am I? Where's mum? And I was screaming out for my mum. And remember in the session, I'm screaming, mum, like this. And and I was like, what is going on? And
I was gonna say, it's so crazy, like when that stuff happens. Like I've done a breath work. It was probably about November last year, and I had that happen. I went back to pass, and I thought you were like, you're screaming, and you're like kind of after the session, you're like, what's but I'll let you continue.
So that was pretty much my first journey. And then I remember, they're calling us back into the room, and we had to pair up and do what we call a dyad process. Where you have a listening partner and then a talking partner, and you get to share. And I was just so bewildered by it all. I was like, what just happened? Like, taken back, right to the get-go, remembering my first breath, but remembering that some tube was put right down my throat, and I know that they were trying to suck out all the mucus and all that. But remembering as I came out of the breathwork session, my throat was so sore, and that I just felt that I felt really sad that I'd been taken from my mum and just put in a nursery or a room with all these other screaming babies, and and just felt really sad. I was like, where's my mum? I was trying to call out for her, and so I was trying to fathom, what is this breath work? Why are we doing this? And then the facilitators then, explained to us all about, what breath work is, and where it came from. And I was just in awe. I'd never experienced anything like this. And they talked to me about the founder of it was Leonard Orr, and he's like the grandfather of breath work. And I was like, is he still alive? I would love to meet him. And they said he's in USA, and in the 60s he was going to become a Baptist minister like his father. And I know I mentioned to you before, he every night he used to have a bath. He loved baths, and he used to immerse himself in the water with a snorkel and breathe underwater. And he had this, one day he had this premonition, like he saw this guru, his name was Babaji, at the end of the bath, and said, how come you do this breathing? And if you want to understand it more, this is going to be a key to helping people get out of suffering of the human mind, and if people don't have a healthy mind, they don't have a healthy body, unhealthy mind. And he said, come and find me in India, and I'm going to teach you so many more tools and processes to take back to Western society, and this is really going to be a key, you know, for helping humanity. And so he went over and eventually he went over with his best friend Sondra Ray, and Sondra Ray, she's like the grandmother of this whole breathwork rebirthing movement, and they went over together and found Babaji, and yeah, you know, they became like a disciple of his work, and then brought it back to the US, and you know, it started making a lot of noise. And yeah, there was a clinical psychologist, psychiatrist, I don't know if you know his name, Stanislav Grof.
I haven't heard of him, actually.
No.
This is first time.
So
yeah.
Stanislav Grof, he, in the 50s, he did clinical trials with people to give them LSD, and to get them quickly into altered states of consciousness. Stanislav Grof as well, he traveled around the world, and he was very intrigued by people going into trance states, whether it's through dance, through music, through chanting, through, you know, shamanic drumming, and also, you know, through plant medicines. And so he was giving them LSD, and found that so many that had come to him with clinical diagnosis of, you know, with all kinds of mental disorders, that he found that just kind of microdosing people on LSD, you know, was really helping them to go into altered states and get into the core of, you know, where it stems from. But unfortunately, government stopped, you know, the funding and put a stop to what he was doing. And he heard about Leonard Orr and about this conscious connected breathing through breath work, rebirthing, and was intrigued. And Leonard Orr was at the time proclaiming that so many people could heal from diseases and mental illness. And Stanislav Grof's wife, she had breast cancer, and she went to the States to see Leonard Orr and try this breathwork rebirthing, and she healed from the breathwork experience. And those two became devotees to this practice. And I think it was thanks to Stanislav Grof and his wife Christina that it really permeated around the world, because, you know, there was clinical psychiatrists, psychologists.
Yeah.
And so, you know, especially in Western world, you know, so many love science, you know, and believe science back up everything. And so,
because I was just about to say, I had a quote for that. I heard on a podcast, which was really cool, because like, and I'm a lover of science, but like, I guess everything happening in the world at the moment, it's kind of actually pushed me away a lot from the science kind of world. But then I heard this quote that was really cool on a podcast of Aubrey Marcus, and it goes like, not everything in the world can be measured, so therefore science doesn't have the answer for everything.
Yeah, that's true. You know, when I'm also a shamanic breathwork facilitator, and you know, I say to people that, you know, we're working with this element of air that we can't see, but we can actually feel, and really feel the power of what, as we breathe in air, we're also breathing in energy. And this is what Leonard Orr highly spoke about, you know, that this energy, universal, you know, life energy is all around us. And when we can start becoming conscious of this energy, you know, mystics, yogis, monks, indigenous, tribes, they all understood about, the power of breath, and that, I don't understand in Western society, it took such a long time, for the practices of meditation and the teachings to, to really come out into Western, to Western world. But, this is a massive game changer, that we not, being so influenced by science and, how do I say, the big pharma companies and, it's so much, by religion and control on, outside of us, when, the key is just to stop and go with it deep within. And our breath is such, a miraculous key, to going within. It's where all our answers are. We're our own inner healers. Yeah.
I was just about to say that. I perfectly agree. For some reason, in like Western culture, we think the answers are outside of us, but we come to planet Earth with all the answers in us. But half the time, like with the Western culture, we get taught it's all outside of us, but really it's inside of us. Like we have the tools to heal ourselves. Like even I was talking to a friend today, like a lot of the people I've researched over time, like a lot of people get out of the pharmaceutical industry because they realize placebo works nearly just as good as any other drug that they provide. And it's like, well, we have this power inside of us, but we aren't getting taught this because we want to come, I guess the Western society wants us to come reliant on the system in some aspect as well. But it's crazy how now we're starting to catch up, but then all the indigenous cultures around the world have been talking about this for millennials.
Absolutely. Like it's been predicted that around the whole world that, in the 20th century that rainbow tribe is coming together and from all nations all coming together, and it's like stepping up into this 4, 5D, 6D, and we're waking up, and people are going to see beyond the veils and illusions of what science, the pharmaceutical industry, government, rise above all this control, that's caused so much segregation amongst humanity, with science, with religion, and that we will all rise and come together and in such a natural, way, and in love. There's either fear or love, and we're going to all come together in love. And I can see so much of this happening right now.
I think that's the lesson with the definitely agree the global awakening and that, and I think that's also the lesson in the I guess the great divisions that we're seeing at the moment. It's like, okay, this is what it's actually teaching us, is that we can accept each other and love someone else even if they don't agree with us. It's like, this is not a war to win or what side to win on. This is time for us to come together. And that's some of the big downloads that I've been getting lately. It's like, hey, we're not fighting for which side to win here. We've got to come together for us to all win.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. And love, there's only just love, when if we can just come back to our hearts and open our hearts, but it has to start, within ourselves, and that, we be sovereign, we be true and real with ourselves first. So then when we do, that can just like ripple out to our family, to our friends, and out to the world, and it's always there, it's always within us, and we only just have to stop and breathe out all the emotional, all that constipation since birth, all the downloads, all the shit that has been Sorry, am I swearing too much?
No, you're all good. That is perfectly fine. I swear all the time on here.
Okay, I didn't know.
I should have mentioned that at the start, but it's fine.
Okay. Yeah, that when we can use our breath just to release so much of all the accumulated energy that and come back to our hearts, and and then in that way we come to wholeness, we feel more empowered, and there's no need to to be in that limited mindset or limitations, and when we can just stop and really like I said, come back to our hearts, back to love, and anything's possible when we really truly align ourselves with what gives us inspiration and meaning and hope and what we're passionate about. Yeah.
Yeah, because it helps raise the vibration, and then also the people around you. When you start working on yourself, this is something I've noticed over the last couple of years, is that as soon as I started working on myself, everyone else around me as well started vibrating higher as well and started working on themselves slowly. And also too, like the conversations were so much, I guess, started to become better. Even themselves were taking care of themselves. And it's crazy how much we don't, like, we guessing, like I was saying before, in Western society, we're wanting someone else to save the day, but really we are the ones to save the day. If we save the day with ourselves, then it helps raise the vibration of everyone else.
Yeah, my teacher Star Wolf, her teacher was Grandma Twyla, and she was the last of the Seneca Wolf Clan tribe, the elder. And she goes, she used to say to Star Wolf, "We are the ones we've been waiting for." So Star Wolf believed that not Star Wolf, Grandma Twyla, she, like I said, she was the elder of the Seneca Wolf tribe in North Buffalo, New York, and she honestly believed we all come from the stars, and that we're all light beings, and we are how do I say, we're visitors to the earth. And humanity done so much destruction to the earth and to one another, and it's humanity have to wake up. It's not all about, how do I say, all these false illusions and cloaks and, money and power and all that. We have to be, keepers of the earth, to respect Mother Earth. We're visitors. And it's so important that, we to be respectful, and unfortunately there is light and there is dark, and within all of us, and it's what we choose to be, and for some people it's a struggle to be in their light. Sometimes it's just easy to give up, or I've worked with so many addicts, and it's so easy to just give up, and, I just say, if you can just really trust and surrender, and when you're in your light, everything will just align. And I honestly believe Spirit and the greater universe listens to us, that our light, our vibration, when we really step into the sacredness and the true purpose of who we are, everything starts to align and can really shape shift. And I've witnessed it time and time again with look, I've worked with ice dealers, and I've had 1 or 2 sessions with them. I say, come and just try this, and has been such a liberating key to switch from darkness into their light and get onto a new path. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. And it's like, I don't know who I was hearing this from, but it's normally like, it's the addicts that normally are the ones that are the most spiritual inclined, or can actually like have a stronger connection to spirit and their light side. It's just because of the polarities are so, you know, big. And in that's and I love with like what you said there as well. It's like, as we see on like a global scale at the moment, we are out of alignment, right? And this is why so many light beings have been sent to the earth, because this is what, and also why we're seeing so much destruction at the moment, because the earth, we're so out of alignment with ourselves, planet earth, and all this stuff. And it kind of actually reminded me of a story which I think you might have heard this on a podcast. It was like, I'll try and paraphrase it a little bit. And it's like a bunch of light beings that are I guess on a planet that was far, far away, and they were having a meeting and of deciding who was going to come down the planet Earth, and they were talking to him. And then the leader was like, well, explaining what planet Earth is like, and it said like it used to be like here, really aligned, and all this other stuff. And it's like, you guys are going down to, you know, help to rise a vibration and make it into a beautiful planet like ours. But the catch is when you go down, you're not going to remember who you are. You're going to have like traumatic experiences, all this kind of stuff. But then over time, when you start to get, I guess, aligned and all that, you're going to find who, like, you're going to remember who you are and why you came down here for. And then also too, you're going to meet, I guess, everyone else that's come down with you, and you're all going to align and shine your light brightly to help to rise the vibration of the planet.
Yeah, you know, and seeing so many, you know, brave warriors, you know, and I moved from Melbourne to Gold Coast last year, and, you know, I met Dan, how do you say his surname? Peru?
Peru, yeah.
Peru, yeah. You know, I got to meet him and just see the most beautiful work he's doing, helping especially a lot of young men and men who, you know, have grown up in, you know, really devastating, you know, in family, you know, with the dynamics and circumstances. And it's, you know, so wonderful to see, you know, such, you know, really, how do I say, brave, you know, like a brave warrior within himself who is inspiring so many other men to step up into their warrior path, you know, and even, you know, to inspire those, you know, who might be really at the bottom of the barrel and down and out and everything's pretty much screwed up, and, you know, you know, having, you know, someone like himself and, you know, helping to really pull these men out from the darkness. And it's not so hard, and, you know, it can be enjoyable, and it doesn't have to be years of psychotherapy and medication, this and that. All people need is pure connection, to be understood, to be heard, to talk about their stories. You know, way of processing is, you know, to be able just to share, you know, and it doesn't have to be, you know, a minefield of, you know, I mean, I'm not against psychotherapy and that, but there's just so much magic when people can come together and be on that same level to find your tribe. And you know, I
was going to say the connection, and it's so amazing. And then when you are like, I've done a bit like been a part of a bit of men's work myself, and also like helping facilitate a group at the moment as well, is that which is like when you all sit in like a circle and then you're all sharing your stories and what you've been through, and then you kind of realize that you're not the only person. Because like when you go to psychotherapy to, you know, get a psychologist session, you kind of feel like you're by yourself because that person's somewhat on a pedestal. But then when you go to like a men's group or a breathwork facilitation, even like the facilitators are on the same level as you are. You don't feel like you're getting looked down on, because everyone is sharing their story. Everyone's going through stuff as well, but you're going through it together, and you realize the similarities and the things you've all been through, no matter like what age you're at. Like I remember doing the spiral a while ago, and it was called the Integrated Warrior with Ryan and Dan. That I remember, like there was a few those people that were way probably 20 years older than me, and I realized, and then we were all sharing our stories, and I'm like, well, I have similar stories to you do, and
Yeah.
you know, vice versa and all that. It's quite amazing.
Yeah, we're you know, when we're not as, you know, human beings, you know, we're not so different after all. We all go through how do I say, you know, with our vibration, you know, like, you know, it can be, you know, deep sadness, despair and grief, and but you know, we can you know, spiral upwards and, you know, into absolute ecstatic bliss and enjoyment and all of that. But you know, so many people get so stuck in the world, and you know, the big problem in the world is that, you know, so many people are alone, and that, you know, unfortunately, how do I say, you know, like the old ways, you know, like our elders, you know, our ancestors, our, you know, even like, you know, in shamanism, you know, community would get together, you know, whether it's by a fire or community get together and bring a meal. And we so need connection. We so need to see eye to eye and heart to heart, you know. To me, you know, this, you know, it's, you know, this is what people need, you know, we need that. And, you know, I just believe, you know, as we, you know, stepping more and more into the modern age, you know, we're becoming more distant from one another, you know, through social media and through Facebook and Instagram, and that, you know, we can really hide our real truth behind, you know, behind our screen, you know, and, you know, we can put on this fake facade, we can put on the mask, you know, and we've got all these filters and all this modern day stuff that we can, you know, we can get apps on our phone and make ourselves beautiful and younger, and, you know, you don't have to worry yet, but, you know,
we're getting there.
No, I don't use anything, but, you know, like, it's just crazy, you know, everyone's just living in this false illusion, so many, and thinking, oh, you know, people going to like me if you know, you know, I look a certain way, or, you know, have this certain job and this and that, and we're becoming so, you know, despondent, like we're becoming so disassociated from our true self, you know, we're looking externally so much, and, you know, comparing and stuff, and this, you know, causes so much limiting beliefs within our own psyche. I'm not good enough, I'm not sexy enough, I'm not beautiful, and I don't get, you know, why I don't get as many likes and all this shit, you know. And honestly, you know, people, we need friendships, we need connections, and I highly recommend anyone to watch an amazing documentary called Crazy Wise. Don't know if you've heard of it. And it's actually got Stanislav Grof in it.
I'm gonna have to check this out.
Yeah, and it follows a story about I think it's four different people who suffer from mental illness, and you know, the producer of this film, he spent years following the stories of 4 people, and you know, one guy had bipolar disorder and schizophrenia, and he suffered suicidal ideation. Then there was another woman, I think she was living in New York at the time, and she had, you know, similar symptoms, and which she said it was, you know, caused from sexual abuse, you know. And then there was somebody, you know, there was I think 4 or 5 different stories, but one of the big things from the movie, from him making this, I forgot his name, sorry, I'm a bit blank on the producer's name, but he said the key was to their healing. They all got well, they all became so self-empowered, and the key was connection. And he said connection through finding the interests and what gives you hope and purpose, you know, whether it's through arts, whether it's through dance, finding your tribe, finding your people that are on your level, that get you, that want to hear you and really see the raw truth of who you really are. And it's amazing, inspirational movie. I recommend to anyone, you know,
it's so like true though, but like connection, like it's weird how like individualized we've come now when we kind of disconnect from each other, but we're all like, you talk to everyone, like you think, like everyone says there's something missing, like I feel disconnected at the moment. And it's like realizing we're like are disconnected as society, like social media pushes that, even though it's a like fantastic tool, but we've come so relying on it for connection instead of the person in front of us. And then like with that too, like one thing that I've come over the research of the last couple of years, that connection actually lowers the trauma response to the body.
Yeah.
Because it's like, and then we're now all like with the, I guess the state of the world, like everything's run by fear. If you like, I could really start to break that down, but like we're in this where, you know, the world's causing this fear response in all of us, and then we're kind of like in this heightened state, depressed, anxious, because we are so disconnected. We're not with our tribe, and when we're with our tribe, you know, depression kind of disappears, because depression is, you know, I guess back in the caveman days was the thing that, you know, help protect you when you're by yourself from your tribe. And now we're, you know, the safest we've ever been, but we're the most anxious we've ever been.
Yeah. Oh, look, you know, absolutely. And you know, my teacher, Star Wolf, she always says we're always going through what we call the spiral path, that it's like the earth, everything's a spiral, everything's always moving. It's not going to be forever. Everything will shape shift. Everything's always changing. And that for us not to be, you know, caught up in all that fear and hopelessness and all that negative stuff, that, you know, it's going to be okay. You know, it's like, how do I say, it's like a snake, you know, and you know, shedding the skin. We're always shape shifting. We're always growing and changing. And you know, I just say to people, you know, just to hang in there, you know. And I mean, you know, I've got so much views. This would be another podcast about the vaccination, but we won't go there. But honestly, just hang in there, and that, you know, just to be supportive of one another, and that, you know, those who are vaccinated, those who are not vaccinated, we just come together in love, no matter what. Love will conquer all, you know, and no matter what, love is the key. And that we, you know, support, you know, just to be supportive of one another and to listen. And, you know, so many people are so critical and judgmental, and, you know, you can have these trolls on social media, and, you know, when people are, you know, I've even expressed my view about, you know, this whole thing, you know, with COVID, and that doesn't matter, you know, I just speak my truth, and doesn't matter, you know, I just send them love. It's okay, you know. And that I just, sorry, I won't go on, but it's you know, we're going through a massive paradigm shift at the moment. And
I definitely call it the birth canal to something beautiful.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because it's
I honestly believe Mother Earth will, she's going to go through this, what I call Kundalini rising, you know, this real rebirth. There's going to be such a big, massive shape shift, I honestly believe, all around the world. You know, I honestly believe with all of this, you know, where, how do I say, it's like, you know, from people from, you know, all walks of life, you know, we're all being affected by this. And, you know, but I honestly believe, you know, if we can just really try and stay positive the best way you can. And I know in Melbourne, Australia, you know, they're still in lockdown, and in New South Wales, Sydney, and, you know, just try and find ways to each day to kind of get you through this, that it's not going to be forever. I remember when it was happening last year in Melbourne, my partner and I, you know, we were hearing from everyone was real frustrated and pissed off with the government and all these restrictions and rules. And I remember him and I, we just decided, wow, you know, a lot of all these universities are offering courses online dirt cheap. Why don't, you know, while we're in lockdown, let's do some, you know, diplomas or degree courses while we're in lockdown. And what are things that we can do, you know, while we're in this situation at the moment. And we also breathed every day, did breath work, and that you know, that really helped you know, really connect with our soul, and, you know, really, you know, with spirits. And, you know, I kept just getting downloads and transmissions that, yeah, it's not going to be forever. We're going to get, you know, we're going to get out of this, and it's all going to be okay. And yeah,
it's just going to go through that icky bit, and that's what change is. It is icky, it's chaotic in that. And like with every crisis creates opportunity. We have the biggest opportunity. I guess one thing I like to say is all the shadow stuff of the unconscious collective is coming up to the surface for us to deal with right now. And it's going to be chaotic, and that, but there's so much hope in there, and too, because it gives us the opportunity to create the world that we all know that's possible.
Yeah, it's just, you know, people got to hang in there. And I know, you know, unfortunately, some, you know, have given up. You know, there's people, you know, spirit on the other side, that it was just too much, you know, for families having their kids at home and having to homeschool them. And it's, you know, it's been a massive pressure. But I know, you know, I just really envision a hopeful future, you know, and it's going to be an amazing future. Yeah.
100% agree with that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I guess before I ask the final question, I would actually love you to do a little 5-minute breath work with us, if that's all right, for the listeners and stuff. I reckon it'd be, which I reckon it'd be pretty cool.
Yeah. So did you want me to like, okay, so
I guess just whatever you feel into, like your intuition saying to jump into, and that. But just to pre-warn anyone that's driving, don't close your eyes or anything like that, just for safe precautions.
Pull over.
I reckon pull over.
Yeah. So all right. Okay. So just going to invite everybody now just to close your eyes, and just taking a deep breath in through the nose and out through the mouth, bringing your awareness to this present moment, to your breath. So as you're breathing in, just holding your breath for maybe 2 heartbeats, and then just exhaling out through your mouth. So and again, just taking in a deep breath in through the nose, holding for a few heartbeats, and then just letting go. Allowing your whole body just to soften completely, to relax. As you're breathing in, becoming aware of any tightness, anything in your body, any tension, any holds, and then breathing out. And as you let go, just feeling your body to become really subtle and really soft. And just continuing, just breathing in this rhythm, inhaling deeply in through your nose, holding just for a few heartbeats, and then exhaling out through the mouth. And again, just taking in a deep breath, and as you're breathing in, imagining oxygen, energy, really filling up every single organ, every single cell in your body. And as you're breathing out, just surrendering with each breath, just allowing yourself just to drop in a little bit deeper, releasing any thoughts as you just continue just to breathe in this natural life force energy, to breathing it in inside you and holding for a few heartbeats and just allowing to let go. And continuing breathing in, letting go, and just feeling your breath, feeling the air flowing in and holding for a few heartbeats and just letting go. And as you let go, you can even make a sound. It can even be loud, exuberant. As you release and let go, you may even wish just to move your body as you breathe in, holding for a few heartbeats and letting go. And as you're letting go, just allowing your body to become even more softened and subtle and loose. Yeah. And just continuing, just taking in just slow, deep breaths. As you just slowly now allow yourself in more and more just to relax. Continuing just in this slow, natural rhythm. Holding for a few heartbeats and letting go. I'm going to do a little prayer. I'm calling in Creator, Great Spirit, Great Mystery, Source of all creation. You're known by so many names. We offer gratitude to be here with us in this sacred time, right here, right now. We give thanks for our breath, our body, our spirit, to fill our hearts and our minds with each breath, to fill it with joy, and our souls with compassion. And next, when you're ready, as you take in a deep breath, you may wish to set an intention or prayer and call in whatever is sacred to you, to listen to you, whether it be angels or spirit guides, gurus, holy saints, Buddha. It could be departed loved ones, beloved pets who may have passed on, or the spirit of plants. It could be your ancestors, your family lineage. And just having a moment now as you're just taking in slow, deep breaths and just putting it out there and just asking for whatever it is you may need right here, right now. Whether it's hope, abundance, love, fulfillment, prosperity, guidance, wherever you are right now, to help fulfill your life with purpose. Whatever it is, to help you achieve your highest destiny. Continue just taking in deep breaths and just putting out a prayer and intention. What you may need. Putting it out there to spirit and opening yourself to spirit, to receiving this opportunity to elevate your life. And then once you've done that, just setting it free with your blessings. And just continuing just to take slow, deep breaths. Just letting go of any thoughts, any control, just feeling your breath. You may feel sensations. You may see images in your mind's eye. Just taking in deep breaths and handing over trust and faith to whoever you called in for your prayers, your intentions. Just taking in a deep breath and letting go, knowing that the universe hears you, that spirit hears you, and that you are not alone in this earth walk. Just allowing yourself some time just to breathe, be very gentle with yourself. And in this moment of silence, asking for a message from Spirit, your guides, your helpers, asking for a message. They've got a message for you they can give you right here, right now. And then taking in a deep breath, you may wish to now put your hands on your heart and giving thanks to Creator, Divine Spirit, Great Mystery, for allowing this opportunity just to stop, just to take deep breaths, just to come in, to be with ourselves. Thank you for all the blessings that are yet to come. And may each and every single one of you be able to touch the world in your own special, unique way. We're all here on planet Earth for our soul's calling. And sometimes we can be humbled by sometimes the greatest pain can be our greatest teacher. So now just beginning to slowly to transition, to come back. So beginning to start taking in a deep breath and then breathing out. And then begin to just start rubbing your hands together and then just placing them over your heart and just giving yourself thanks for just stopping and just going on this little sacred pilgrimage, connecting with your breath and connecting into your heart and soul, thanking yourself, thanking your guides, your helpers on the other side, thanking universal life force energy, thanking for beautiful breath that we can breathe to come home to our heart and soul. And again, just taking in a deep breath, and when you're ready, begin to start opening your eyes. Having a stretch and coming back. How are you feeling? Yeah.
That was beautiful. Thank you.
You're welcome. Did you get a message?
Yes, I did.
Beautiful.
It was awesome. It was definitely much needed in this time and that. But yeah, that was amazing. Thank you.
You're so welcome. And look, I run with my partner Shamanic Breathwork Journeys at our home in Bar City Lakes. You can find all our information on Shamanic Transcendence. And if you've got any questions, you can always, private message me. But yeah, you can find our information on Shamanic Transcendence. And have you got anything else?
That's awesome. Yeah, I'll link all that in below. And just
thank you.
Definitely will. Thanks for sharing. I was going to ask that actually, so you beat me to it. But just for the final question, what is the legacy you want to create?
Oh, for me, I just want people to come back how do I say, to really come back to the wisdom of what shamanism talks about. This is way before religion. Shamanism talks about legacies just coming back to the natural elements, and one is breath, air, this most mysterious element of all. If we can teach the younger generation the power of this element, this sacred element, air, people like yourself, that we just continue teaching, coming back to the old ways. And that's my how do I say, my legacy, that this can really make such a big difference. Yeah, just so many souls on the earth walk. Yeah.
So beautiful and so true.
Yeah.
And yeah, I love it. Yeah, but thank you again for coming on. I had actually a really good time. I've learned a lot. I'm actually probably gonna have to go back and listen to bits and pieces and absorb it all. And it was such an amazing little breath work as well. And yeah, thank you for what you're doing. Appreciate it. I think Mother Earth appreciates, well, everyone, spirit and all that. So thank you again for coming on.
Oh yeah, I'm just so humbled and so thankful. And you keep on keeping on, brother. Keep doing what you're doing, and really honor you. That you really awakening so many souls and lifting consciousness. You're beautiful light worker, such a beautiful soul. It's been a pleasure. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Cheers for tuning in today's podcast today, guys. If you think anyone would get any value from it, share with a friend or a family member or anything like that. Let us know what you think in the comment section below, or through social media or anything like that. Also too, now that I'm now qualified to do access bars and Reiki, so if you're up on the sunny coast, feel free to reach out for a session. I'll have all this stuff linked up on my website shortly. And yeah, but other than that, hope you enjoyed today's episode, and cheers for all the support.